David, there's a game at the weekend, Holdsworth versus Holdsworth. There's also a game against Newport. Both are very important, I imagine, to you.
That's the most important thing, is that we're playing away from home, we're playing a very strong side, and the focus must be on, from my point of view, is on the players. Going there and certainly setting up correctly, and we've been working hard on that during the week. And really the focus must be on us achieving what we've achieved so far on the road, is some very valuable points. But we're going up against a very strong side who have an excellent home record, a fantastic home record, it must be said, and have shown everybody that they've adjusted to life very quickly, and a strong effort.
We'll come on more to Newport in a minute, but if we go back to last week's performance against Southport, it takes an incredible amount of character to go to a place like that, especially with the club's problems or the club's news off the field. Yeah,
it does, and I feel that we've had to grow up quickly as a squad. And the news that when the club, is, I won't say on the brink of bad things, but when it can be taken into poor light, when a club, but I must say that you've hit the nail on the head with the character, the players and my staff. I want to say that about my staff. My staff have been fantastic. Russ has come in and the boys have taken to him very well, and Gundog, Jason, they're worth their weight in gold, them people. And for me, the character they've shown, the leadership that they've shown, and likewise the players have gone out there and done the hard work and getting the 3 points for us. And the texture of our squad is been tremendous, and I'm very, very proud of the people around me at the minute. And because when the club is in difficulties, the chairman has come out and the board have come out and made the decision, and I feel that I think that led to the terraces, to be honest, and I feel that the fans played their part last week away from home.
Your initial reaction, David, to learning about the news that the club's going to be put up for sale?
It didn't come as a surprise to me. I will say that because I've been privy to information, and the gentleman behind the scene is that they're Mansfield through and through, and it was done with a heavy heart. So I sincerely hope that they are rewarded by finding somebody that can take the club over in a positive fashion, because Andy Saunders, Middleton and Hymas I've worked with very closely recently. The good thing is that they leave me to get on with the football, and they know that that's in safe hands. We don't have any other concerns about when we go onto that training ground is working hard, and I try to keep that distance to the players regarding the difficulties that we find ourselves in.
In the statement they released, they said they believe they've got a manager and a squad that can get them back into the Football League. That's obviously an endorsement of yourself, David. You must be very pleased with that.
I am very pleased with that because we work very hard, and they know how hard we work on the training ground. I'm forever at matches and forever at looking at ways of trying to increase our capability without having to increase the wage bill. So that's pleasing to hear. Of course, I'm very proud that of the way we're doing things, and as I say, those three guys, they leave me to get on with my job, and I'm grateful for that. But likewise, we all have the same enthusiasm, the same motivation, is to try to get this team into as best this position it can be in.
Do you personally feel that you fulfilled the board's expectations in your time here, David?
Yes, I do. Yeah, without a doubt, because I'm a constructive person. I want to get promotion with a football club. Of course, I do. It's a very competitive league we work in, and I think that's only coming probably to light now. Last year was probably just as competitive, if not more. This year, you can say what you like about budgets and everything else. They're things I learnt last year, of course I did, and things that I've taken on board, and with consideration you may have changed things, but that only comes from hindsight, and hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Let's go on to this weekend's game, Newport versus Mansfield Town, but also taking on your brother Dean. Is that a bit of a sideshow for you at the minute?
Not a sideshow, no. We're both very focused on our job, and we speak every day anyway. The media is obviously a making noises about it, because it's the first time it's ever happened. Twins managing against each other, so we are very proud of that. But likewise, we're both. I spoke to Dean prior to coming in this morning, and he was a little bit quieter than normal, and certainly wasn't asking me about my team. I would have told him I'm going to have to make changes. That might happen because of injuries and an illness that swept through the club, and certainly these are things that we have to consider. But Dean was a little bit quiet this morning, and obviously we know that the press will be there, but we've had to deal with that all our lives, so there's no problem there.
Talk to me about the rivalry that the two of you have shared ever since growing up, because no doubt you played football together and then your careers, shall we say, diverged, but meeting again on the touchline today.
It's quite funny, nostalgia, and you sort of look back on times, and it's not, and probably until you look back and consider when people ask you to find photos of when you were children. And I think as young boys we were competitive, but we were very much a little bit like Butch and Sundance. We were a two-man show, and we've certainly we had some good run-ins with people as kids, but we stuck together, and that was a thing that I've only probably thought about really a little bit more in depth in recent days when this has come to light. But I think as when we were at school, there was a competitive edge. When we went into playing, there was a competitive edge because we're taken to the field. But as kids, we were very much one, and certainly that's come to light from looking back over the years. Some of the cuttings we had, and I found it very interesting because you probably don't appreciate how much togetherness we had as kids.
How did you end up playing in the centre of defence and Dean ended up playing up front?
I don't know. I was blessed with pace as a kid, and certainly and that's diminished as over the years has gone through older head. But I was a right winger, and then I ended up at right back and centre half, and Dean found himself up top. And I don't know. I think that probably I was a little bit of a rough young man, and although I'm a big softie, they certainly. I think that was probably the area I found myself dealing with situations.
In terms of the actual game, though, you've mentioned that you may be making changes this week. An illness sweeping through the camp, you said.
We've got a couple gone down with a bug, which obviously we're managing. Which is something that you don't foresee, and there's nothing you can do about that. The boys they'll be kept away. There's only 10 or 11 training today. Obviously, we must make sure that the boys that have got the illnesses keep away. And today, obviously, we're only having 10 training. It's very difficult.
One player out injured. Who's that?
No, he's over that injury, I think. But young Ben Turner's got an injury, so we're hoping that once the doctors have seen and got the obviously the paracetamols and whatever else into the boys, that we may have to make several changes. That is unforeseen.
If everyone was fit and available, you made 4 changes for the game against Southport. Would it have been fair to say you may have reverted back to a previous side, or would you have kept the same side?
I picked that formation specific for that game, to be honest, and that must be said, because the boys that have played 7 games prior to that, and I felt there was a little bit of fatigue setting in. And I freshened it up with pace up top because I felt that it was an area that we could utilise, and that came to fruition, which I was very pleased about. And to get the 3 points at a tough place like Southport, who are, they're going to be all right this year. They're going to have a tough time for other teams to go there. So I was very proud of my players, but as I say, I picked that formation specifically because of the size of the pitch, and I felt that we can benefit us. So I feel that this weekend's a different type of game. Certainly, we wanted positive, definitely.
Newport, a side that were heavily backed at the beginning of the season, do you think they've acquitted themselves exactly how people thought they would, or have they underachieved in your opinion?
Well, I feel Dean has brought in some very, very good players. The first, obviously, they were waiting for their first victory. They got that, but they've gone to Luton and got a very well earned point. They've gone away at Rushden, last year's playoff places. So, I think that they've really found their feet very well, as of Fleetwood, as of Southport. So, those 3 teams there that have come up have done very, very well. And Liam and my brother have both set up accordingly, making it hard not to be beaten. Probably not as expensive as they want to be, and they could be if they were in the lower division, because they're playing against better opposition.
Saturday, 3 points away from home would be great, but family bragging rights, not a bad way to finish the afternoon, would it?
Whatever happens, David, Dean and I will shake hands. Someone suggested to me that he might have to take his hat off afterwards because he wears a cap, and I think the years have been kind to Dean, to be honest, because I seem to be going greyer by the day, but I might have to buy a cap next week if I've gone that grey.
Thank you, Dave.